Now at 10, the polls are closed and the results are in for Florida's presidential preference primary and for races across the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast.
All night long, we have been closely watching 8 mayoral races and several key ballot issues. Right now, we have the results of many municipal elections scrolling at the bottom of your screen in real time. Good evening. I'm Tiffany Kenny.
I'm Felicia Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us now at 10. Our 2024 commitment coverage kicks off with team coverage.
We have several live crews standing by to bring you the latest on 2 mayoral races and a key ballot issue in Palm Beach Gardens.
We begin with our co-anchor Todd McDermott live near former President Donald Trump's Palm Beach home. Todd, this Florida presidential primary was very different than previous years.
A very big difference. First difference being no Democratic presidential primary at all. More on that in a moment. And as far as the GOP side of things, well, Donald Trump cleared the field of all GOP challengers well before now, and the former president easily won the Florida Republican presidential preference primary tonight. 125 Republican delegates at stake here in Florida, looking ahead to the convention and the nominating process. Only registered Republicans voted today in Florida's closed presidential preference primary. It's because the Florida Democratic Party canceled its primary for this year, showing full support for President Joe Biden as the party's 2024 nominee. Biden was declared the automatic winner of the Democratic primary and was allocated all the 224 delegates from this state. Both Biden and Trump won their party's primaries tonight in Ohio and in Illinois. Trump and Biden also expected to easily win primaries in Arizona and Kansas, backing more support after becoming the party's presumptive nominees just last week. Again, here are the key dates that are still ahead as we go through this campaign process. Saturday, March 23rd, Louisiana holds its presidential primary. North Dakota holds its Democratic primary the following Saturday, March 30th. On April 2nd, Connecticut, Delaware, New York, Rhode Island, and Wisconsin hold their primaries. And Saturday, April 6th, it's Alaska, Hawaii, North Dakota with Democratic primaries. Again, what happens does not put the nominations in doubt. It will be the incumbent president versus the former president. Here in Florida, the next election is August 20th. That's the state primary and local nonpartisan races. The deadline to register to vote for that election is July 22nd. The general election is November 5th. To vote, you need to be registered by October 7th. Our live team coverage will continue in less than 15 minutes with our exclusive WPBF 25 News political analysts. I'll be speaking with former Florida House Majority Leader Adam Hasner, former U.S. Congressman Ron Klein, about tonight's primary results, other primary results in other states, and what lies ahead in the general election campaign, which effectively has already started. For now, I'm Todd McDermott at Mar-a-Lago. Let's go back to the studio and Tiffany and Felicia.
Todd, thank you. Many of the mayoral races in Palm Beach County were called within an hour of the polls closing, including in Wellington.
Ari Height joins us live from City Hall, where Vice Mayor Michael Napoleon won with nearly 80% of the vote. Ari?
Michael Napoleon has been working here at Village Hall for the last 8 years. He's been a council member here. He is currently the vice mayor, and now he will spend the next 4 years as the mayor of Wellington. And I caught up with the mayor-elect shortly after the results went final tonight. He told me he is grateful to the residents of Wellington for giving him this honor of being the mayor. He says he's very excited to get started. For priorities, he listed public safety, education, and maintaining a responsible budget. He also addressed what he calls growth pressure, the desire to grow as a village.
I want to focus on making sure that whatever we do, we get it right, because that's the issue that's got a lot of residents, interested in this election more so than prior ones. So I want to make sure that whatever we do, we get it right so it benefits the residents in the community, not just the developer.
And Michael Napoleon will be sworn in as the 7th mayor in the history of Wellington officially on April 9th. That is the very latest reporting live in Wellington. Ari Height, WPBF 25 News.
Ari, thank you. And let's check in with our live crew in Lake Worth Beach, where incumbent Mayor Betty Resch has secured another term with about 48% of the vote.
Our Taylor Hernandez joining us from City Hall. And Taylor, this was one of the more competitive races with 4 candidates vying for the position.
Tiffany, Felicia, that is correct. Betty Resch won this race pretty handily, defeating 3 other candidates in this race for the mayor of Lake Worth Beach. Take a look at your screen. This is incumbent Mayor Betty Resch. This will be her 2nd term after taking office in 2021. She won by nearly 50% of the vote. She previously served as the city's attorney and has lived in Lake Worth for more than 4 decades. When she spoke with our team ahead of today's election, she said the most pressing issues here in Lake Worth are related to affordable housing, housing, homelessness, and safety, all issues that she said go hand in hand. Mayor Resch will serve another 3-year term here in Lake Worth Beach. For now, we're live in Lake Worth Beach. Taylor Hernandez, WPBF 25 News.
Taylor, thank you. Multiple other communities in Palm Beach County also have new mayors tonight.
In Delray Beach, former mayor and commissioner Tom Carney won with more than 51% of the votes. Carney will now be the 6th mayor in the city's history. In Green Acres, Charles Shaw beat Jonathan Pierce with about 65% of the vote. Both are former city council members. Shaw will replace Mayor Joe Flores, who is running for a seat on the Palm Beach County Commission. Over in Hypoluxo, incumbent Michael Brown securing his seat with about 64% of the votes, beating former council member Brad Doyle.
In Juno Beach, Vice Mayor Peggy Wheeler defeated incumbent Mayor Alexander Cook with nearly 56% of the votes tonight. Meantime, in Royal Palm Beach, incumbent Mayor Frederick Pinto has won another term in office with a little more than 60% of the votes. He's been mayor since 2016, beating Steve Avila, who was running for the first time. In Lantana, incumbent Karen Lithgow will now serve her first full 3-year term as mayor. She took 62% of the votes over George Velasquez, who was also running for the first time.
In northern Palm Beach County, voters overwhelmingly said no to annexation in Palm Beach Gardens.
Our Suji Nam joining us live from City Hall. And Suji, this was one of the biggest issues on the ballot for voters there.
Felicia, Tiffany, absolutely. And of those 5 zones under that proposal, more than 90% of those voters in every one of those zones have voted against the annexation proposal. Now, this proposal was involuntary and proposed by the city of Palm Beach Gardens. 5 zones consisting of more than 8,300 residents were under that proposal, with Zone 1 as the largest with more than 7,600 residents. Now, some of the communities included Cabana Colony, Hidden Key, Frenchman's Landing, Pirates Cove, and Monet Gardens. Results show that in one of the zones, more than 2,300 people voted against the annexation. And tonight, I talked to one resident who voted no to the proposal.
Everybody's ecstatic. You know, it's been 6 months. Everybody was all in, and now we know the results. Now, as Gardens residents or Gardens officials said all along, they wanted to let the voters decide, so the voters have decided, and they should be happy. I hope they don't try to do this again, because now we know how to organize.
And I reached out to city officials, including the mayor, for a comment, but have not yet heard back. Reporting live in Palm Beach Gardens tonight, I'm Suji Nam for WPBF 25 News.
Suji, thank you. Voters in West Palm Beach said yes to 2 questions that could affect who can run for office in that city.
The first will increase the time requirement a candidate must live in the city in order to run. It's going to go from 6 months to 1 year. The second will now prevent the mayor from having other full-time employment and limit business relationships to avoid any conflict of interest with city duties.
And remember, we do have results scrolling across the bottom of your screen with the mayoral and council races, as well as the outcome of some ballot questions.
You can also head to WPBF.com or the WPBF 25 News app to read up on the municipal elections and Florida presidential preference primary.